Okay, today we are tasting Claudio Alario's Barolo, the Riva Rocca Cru from 2016. And this is a small producer, 4,000 case annual production total, and of all their wines, not just this wine. This wine, I think they produce just a few thousand bottles. Family's been working the land for 120 years as grape growers, but it wasn't until Claudio came along that they actually started making wines in 1988. And super jovial guy, but he has been killing it ever since. And because we're in Barolo, stricter laws up there. I just want to explain real quick. The wine must be 100% Nebbiolo. The vineyards have to be up on hillsides, no valley floors. And then last thing that I think is pretty important, the wines must be aged for 18 months in wood, and they can release them on the 4th year after the harvest on January 1st. With Claudio's Barolo, it is fermented in stainless steel tanks, and then it's aged in small French oak barrels for roughly 2 years before being bottle aged a bit, and then it is released in January 1st. And the 2016 is his current vintage, and it was an excellent vintage. Let's get into the tasting, though. As you'd expect from a Barolo, beautiful garnet color without too much extraction. And the wine reflects light beautifully. Let's jump into it. Okay, guys, we're here again, and we are tasting Claudio Alario's Barolo, and this is his Cru Riva Rocca. This is 2016 is the vintage. It was a phenomenal vintage up there. And I always like to kind of say, not always in these tastings, but in certain wines, I think it's kind of merited. When I first smelt this wine yesterday, it's changed a lot compared to today, and not necessarily in bad ways. I mean, it's been excellent in both times. Right out of the bottle, it had lots of, spice. It had everything, really. It had spice and mineral and fruit and floral. It had a little bit of everything. However, now as I smell it, it's gotten a little bit more earthy. It's gotten a little bit softer on the notes, a little bit softer tones, a little more leathery. And it's changed, in the short time since I've opened it. It's actually been probably about 15 hours, maybe a little bit longer. But in any case, just like to kind of emphasize that these wines do change, but Claudio Alario is, aside from being a super jovial old man that loves to, I think, have a great time, he also a great winemaker. He does a phenomenal job with his wines, and the Riva Rocca is no exception. So let's jump into it. So like I said, on the nose, this time you're getting a little bit more earthy spice, a little softer. You still have some soft red berry fruit, but soft. A little bit of floral, still a little bit of mineral. But now what's starting to dominate are some of those softer spices, a little bit more of the leather that I think you're getting in this wine. But let's see what's going on the palate. That spice still comes through. Almost kind of transforms, almost a little bit more chocolatey, tobacco-y even. But the tannins come out. This wine is still young. It still has real strong tannins, real aggressive tannins. Kind of an interesting side note, when I was out there just a couple weeks ago, he basically opened up for me a 1993 base Nebbiolo di Alba for me. And keep in mind, the Nebbiolo is kind of the sort of the underling of the Barolo, the Nebbiolo d'Alba, excuse me. They're wines that are very, very nice, but never have the structure that some of these wines do. So if you guys have been on tour with me and you know some of the regions in Tuscany, it'd almost be like the Rosso di Montalcino compared to the Brunello di Montalcino in a lot of ways. And basically, he opened this wine up for us, and we tasted it in 1993. So, we're at 2020. So this is a wine that it's been around for a while. We're talking 37 years, and it was excellent. His wines will age a really long time. The wine today is delicious, but it's probably the most aggressive of a lot of these wines that I've been tasting and been putting on offer. Doesn't mean you can't drink it today. It just means if you want a wine that's going to lay down in cellar, these are the wines that you want. If you're going to want a wine that you're going to open as soon as it comes to your door and you're going to pop it open, you might want one of the other ones. You can open this right away. You can drink it right away. That doesn't mean it's a bad wine. I love it today. It's just kind of a shame because I think this wine is going to get a lot richer, a lot more complex as it ages. And but in any case, wonderful wine, excellent palate, lots of structure, lots of power. but it's shy. It's still a little bit closed. It still needs a little bit more time in the bottle, but an excellent, excellent wine, excellent vintage from an excellent producer. So that is Riva Rocca from Claudio Alario. Hope you guys enjoy it. 2016 is the vintage. So hope you guys enjoy it.